you like.
Everybody retweet it.
Thanks, Alex. As I was watching your presentation, I couldn't help to notice all the facts about marketing and some of the different things you showed me. So, I'm a little disappointed. I thought until today Al Gore invented the internet. But I'm happy to be here with you today, and I'm so happy that this outcome, so many people here today to share such a wonderful experience, basically an educational experience. There's so many different presenters today, people from different walks of life, people that are going to be sharing ideas, different strategies from so many different perspectives, and that's what makes this so great. There's not one single right way to do this, and today the whole purpose of my presentation is to share with you some of the ideas that I've taken into play, some of the ideas that I executed on my own, and how that affected my life both personally and business, and allowed me to get to where I am today. So really the future of social media is right here in this room. You are the future of social media. What you take away from this today is what's going to basically pave the future for you. Just a little background on myself. I'm the founder and the CEO of Live Answer. We're an on-demand call center based out of Pipeline, Brickell. I've also developed a digital business strategy agency where we did a lot of projects for some of the largest companies in the world. And I founded a passport expediting company called Rush My Passport, which I sold a few years ago to a private equity group. I've consulted specifically in social media to 30 of the Fortune 500 companies. I've been in publications such as Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur, Wall Street Journal. I participated in the first innovation contest for open data with President Obama's former CIO and won first prize, which allowed me to speak on various topics ranging from social media to government 2.0. I want to thank the supporters. I want to thank the sponsors. I want to thank the organizers of the event. Without them, this would have not been possible today. I also want to thank my team. Without them, standing behind me. Sorry. Without them standing behind me through basically the course of Live Answer. When you're building something disruptive, people are going to challenge you. They're going to tell you it can't be done. So it's very important to have a team that stands behind you. And also I want to thank my mom, who's here. She's one of the best bridge players that I know. So to get her to come here on the day that she could be playing bridge was a challenge. But the bigger challenge, and I empower all of you, is try to get her on Facebook, because I still haven't been able to do that. So it makes me so excited to be standing here today because Miami just recently has been voted #2 in startup activity. And that's unheard of. I mean, when I met Alex 5 years ago at the first social media day, we were light years from where we are today. And when I went to college, 20 years ago, it wasn't the same. Just yesterday, I was honored to be talking at the University of Miami on pricing strategies and revenue models. And ironically, I was sitting there looking at this beautiful campus, wondering, is this the school that I got rejected to? Is this, and I never even finished college. And then here I am, talking to people about pricing strategies. And ironically, later that night, I got a message from someone in the MBA program asking if I'd come and talk to their MBAs. So it's just funny how things go around full circle. A few things that we all know about social media, but I just wanted to quickly cover. Some of these slides are actually used many, many years ago, but everything still applies, and that's what's so great about it. It's not a shiny object. It's here to stay. There's going to be different flavors, different variations, but it's not going away. It's definitely not a fad. It's just a communication trend, just like newspaper, radio, or anything else. The technology is always secondary. I mean, there's going to be different tools, platforms. I heard someone ask a question, Alex, about that. And that's all just there to help you manage your life, help you with processes. But at the end of the day, it's really all about strategy. And the most important thing is, really ultimately, you have to figure out what are your business goals? What are you trying to get out of social media? So many people are so focused on likes or followers and things like that. But that doesn't really, that's only part of it. It's really not ultimately the end goal. And of course, it's still, believe it or not, I believe, still in its infancy stage. I mean, we've come a long way, but there's so much further that we can go. I know this because these are the social media budgets that we're talking about. We're literally talking about billions of dollars, not millions. Companies are throwing a lot of money at this. Sure, at the very beginning stages, people didn't quite know what to do. And in 2010, I took a big leap of faith. I said to myself, I believe so much in this that I'm going to change the course of our digital agency, and I'm going to do something spectacular in the social media industry. So I looked at the different industries, which ones had adopted it a little bit faster than others, and I realized that the automotive industry was a little bit behind. So I decided to launch a product, a service underneath Boalt called GoSo, short for Go Social. And I said, we've got to do something spectacular. We're going to make a big splash into this industry because no one else has done it. Billions of dollars are going to be spent, and it's not going away. So I took a big chance. I said, what's something over the top? Because those of you who know me, I don't like to do things half-assed. I like to do things over the top. So I went online and I started thinking to myself, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff back then had been kind of fairly new, but YouTube was something that automotive dealers would potentially understand. And Judd Lately, who basically had this viral video on YouTube, had hundreds of millions of views. It was literally what was considered an internet phenomenon. For some video to go viral, this dancing guy, like dancing all these different variations in songs. So I thought to myself, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this guy to a huge automotive conference, and that's it. It's going to be as easy as that. So we did that. The problem was, they put me in a slot where I was up against the industry leader. He was this famous guy who spoke about revenue, and I was going to talk about a dancing guy. So of course, only 4 people signed up for the presentation. But don't worry, I'm a creative guy. Let's sit down, let's use our skills in social media, let's start tweeting and stuff and figuring out how we can get people to come. But no one was on Twitter yet. No one was on Facebook. So we had to create our own phenomenon. So while my team was hard at work trying to figure out what to do, I was like, I gotta think outside the box. So I got in my car and I drove to a local Hooters and I spoke to a lady there and I said, you have to help me here. We have to create an internet phenomenon. I came back and I said, I invented the tweet up girl. So, there you have it. We got 14 attendees. She was sensational, and they loved it. 64, 124. They didn't even know what tweet up was, but they just said, sure, I'll come to the tweet up. And sure enough, I had over 200 people. I got in trouble, and I was basically told that I brought somebody there that, I think they used the word tooted or horn or something like that. And I said, this is called marketing. This is called advertising. It worked. But then they said, but all this with the sponsors and this and that. And I said to myself, I've either made the biggest mistake in my career or the best. 2 weeks later, 2 original equipment manufacturers signed up with our agency. 2 months later, a bunch more. Within 6 months, every brand, automotive brand in the world, but 3, were using our services. Wow. These are some of the notable campaigns that I participated in. We did the Ford Fiesta Chapter 2 movement, and it was extremely successful. We focused on the Chapter 2 because we wanted to bring it to a local level, and Chapter 1 was focused on a national level. My whole thing was, you've got to get the local community involved. National stuff is great, but these large brands forget that social media, it really has to be localized for it to be successful. AutoNation, one of the best companies in the world, it was impossible to become a vendor of theirs, but somehow I did it quickly, and they believed in me, and they allowed me to build a campaign, and they gave me a lot of creative freedom. And at first they wanted to do things like post earnings and all that stuff, and I've always been told I'm a little bit hard-headed sometimes, but I said I won't work with you if you do that. And I said we have to do something different. We have to show your customers that you really care. So I convinced them to take their logo and literally have people post you know, the people that followed them, they literally created all the avatars and changed it and made it a whole socialized logo. Another local company that you might know, JM Lexus, which was doing a lot of stuff with MovieCo at the time, wanted to work with us, and they're another amazing company. Of course, they've been told a lot of things, so I told them, why don't you give away free movie tickets to people that are buying cars? No, I said, no, just the people of the community. And they're saying, well, should we give them tickets if they come and test drive a car? And again, I was a bit hard-headed. I said, I won't do it if you do that. You have to just give it to them with no strings attached. And then that's what matters, because then the people in your community will realize you really truly care about them. And it's not about some exchange. No one wants to have to be forced to do something in order to receive something with social media. That's just it. And it was extremely successful. They ended up having more test drives than they could have ever felt without forcing anybody to do anything. The Nissan Leaf, another amazing campaign I worked on. The problem with this was that when Nissan launched this product, the world wasn't 100% ready for this, but they wanted to build awareness. So I pitched them on the idea of just get people to understand what you're trying to achieve, and in exchange, tell them that you're going to plant a tree for them. Within a few weeks, we planted 50,000 trees. JD Power asked me to come and speak 6 months prior, just so you understand some perspective on the situation. I didn't know anything about the automotive industry, and then I was speaking at JD Power alongside Facebook and LinkedIn as an industry expert. So what did this life lesson teach me? It taught me that at the end of the day, all these brands were investing in billions of dollars to try to figure out how to get followers and likes, and they were trying to basically just focus on like my page and this, like my page to do this. But really, it's not about that. I mean, that's one part, but the real truth is it's about building a strategy that meets your objectives, and also realizing that it's not just about the brand, it's about the actual customer as well. So every day, our lives are being influenced by social media, and sometimes we don't even realize it, and it just takes a set. Just to give you an example, this morning, I went for a run, and as I run, other friends that are running, I can see what they're doing and their activity and where they're running, how far they're running, and it kind of keeps you accountable, which is such a great thing. How many of you guys here have used Runkeeper before? Great. How many of you guys here use Spotify? Okay, perfect example. Your choice in music, the genres you listen to, the music you listen to is being influenced by friends, because you get to hear what they're listening to and you see what they're listening to. How many of you guys use Yelp? There you go. So your decisions to dine out have been influenced through social media, through friends. How many of you guys here use Tinder? Oh, come on, that's well, I can tell you this. There you go. This is a friend of Alex's. One of you guys here is going to friend Alex today. And then you know what? Maybe one of you will be lucky and swipe right, and you never know what will happen, right? Let's quickly talk about Live Answer. I don't want to stand up here and talk to you about Live Answer and in a sense that, but social media has literally been the reason that we've been successful. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to give you a few tips, and I'm going to show you what we have done using social media and the reason I attribute such success that we've had in the recent few months to it. The semantic web. People don't realize this, but if you look up the semantic web and you look at all the options that Google gives you, you can literally embed things like reviews, social snippets, and all kinds of interesting things right into the search results. So when people are searching for your brand or your company, you can literally have so much lift. For instance, the ad right here, the number 5 that I'm pointing out, the number 1 position costs about $80 for the keyword, small business answering service. I can literally bid down and spend about $20 to be in the 5th position versus the first position just by having my reviews present and using ad extensions. It's because people get drawn to the stars, and you can basically spend half as much by using your social media components and incorporate them into your advertising. Landing pages. Our landing pages, when we have reviews or social media widgets on our landing pages, they convert anywhere between 200 to 300% higher. That means that I pay 1/3 less to acquire a customer, a free trial for Live Answer. And it works. We test this stuff methodically every single day. How methodically? You wouldn't even understand. We track every single media source that comes in. If you go and do a search for Live Answer, and you just pick up the phone and call our number, we take your caller ID, we push it back into Facebook as an audience. And the next thing you know, you're going to go to Facebook and you're going to see an article that Boalt wrote on Live Answer. Because it's so much more effective to have a third party talk about you than it is to talk about yourself. If you decide to go forward and you go to step 1, step 2, but then all of a sudden you get distracted, sure enough, you're going to receive banners, because that's what we consider like shopping cart funnel abandonment. Step 3, step 4, and you finally sign up for a free trial for 7 days. Every single day of our free trial, we're going to push different content, have different audiences that we create through remarketing, push different content to you, show you different customer stories, so that you can relate and understand how other customers are using Live Answer. And even if you decide not to go with us and expire, you'll all of a sudden see things that will come up and you'll get 3 months, discounted prices. It's very important, but we tell the stories in more of an editorial type way than advertorial. It's much more effective. Remarketing displays. Don't advertise your company. Tell your customers tell them stories about how customers are using your service. I was talking yesterday at the University of Miami about how we basically told stories to our customers about how Uber was using our service, Dome 9, Coldwell Banker. I mean, it's endless. But we never really say, come use Live Answer. We say, this is how other people are using Live Answer. Editorial. Some people question me sometimes because they say, well, why would you drive into a site that doesn't have a call to action? It's because sometimes these articles that have been written on about us kind of get pushed to the bottom. We want to ensure that the people who are using the free trial see this. And then when they actually see that Forbes has written up something about us, it gives them the confidence that they're making the right decision. So really customer behavior when it comes to social media is everything. Everything from just building awareness, brand consideration, preference, purchase intent. So the results. I'm not just sitting up here telling you that social media has helped my business. The numbers don't lie. 3 months ago, we had a monthly recurring revenue of $96,000 a month. In May, it jumped to $116,000. This month, we're trending to do over $150,000 in monthly recurring revenue. That's over 35% monthly growth month over month, all because of social media. The future, truthfully, you are the future, okay? So you have the ability to make a difference, but we have to stick together, and we have to realize that we have to work together as a community, and that's how we're going to make Miami a wonderful city. Social, there's 413 million users pre-bubble, okay? Post-bubble, 2.9 billion last year. Okay, that's 40% of the global population that's on social media. Mobile, again, 88 million people pre-bubble. 1% of the population versus 5.2 billion last year. That's 73%. The reason I'm telling you all this is because it's one of the biggest questions that I'm asked. Just different events that we're involved in and stuff like that is, are we in a bubble? I don't know. Wall Street may know. But what I do know is that pre-bubble, $105 billion worth of investments were put out. And when you take the amount of internet users that were out there, the cost per user that they invested in startups was $253. Last year, they invested more money than they did pre-bubble. But there's so many more users than there were back then that proportionately, if you look at it, it's only $16 per user. So I think that's good news. I think that the internet is here to stay. I don't think we're in a bubble. I think that certain things will correct themselves, but the reality of it is that things are better than they've ever been. If any of you are looking for opportunities, we're hiring. If any of you are looking to do your own thing, now is the time to do it. But it's important that we work together as a community. So So I empower you and I ask you, what is it that you're going to do to help me, to help each other, to make sure that next year when the Kaufman report comes out, we're #1? Because I can't do it alone. I need your help, and I need you to take away what you learned today and figure out how you're going to implement it, how you're going to make a difference. Just as I was helping Alex get organized for this event, you know, I said to him I would do anything I could possibly do to help him out. And back in my career, right after I got, you know, integrated with the automotive industry, I started to get requests from different people to help them with their social media. One of those people happened to be my best friend from kindergarten. And he said, I'm starting this brand with Enrique Iglesias, and we're trying to promote a rum. He's a local startup here in Miami, Atlantico Rum. And I said to him, I reached out to him just before the conference. I said, do you think Enrique would help support the event? Do you think he would help sponsor the after party? And he said, let me see what I can do. Well, 5 minutes later, he gave me a call and he said, be happy to. So what we need to do as a community here is realize that when you look at people like, when you look at Silicon Valley and you look at the influence that they have, and you look at Miami, we're coming along, we've come a long way. But it's going to require us to work together collectively and do something different, do things that are creative, to get people like Enrique Iglesias behind us, because he's already committed to helping startups in South Florida by not only sponsoring the events with Atlantico Rum, and that's why he sponsored the after party tonight, but by getting behind and using his influence. He has 9 million Twitter followers, okay? So the reality of it is of course, people like this, entertainers, need to be able to believe in something like this. So I said, don't worry, I'll make that happen. So I'm going to do a little social experiment today. I'm going to ask you guys to help me. How many of you have Twitter on your phones? Great, why don't you pull out your phones? I want all of you right now to tweet Enrique. And I want you guys to make sure that you recognize the hashtag Atlantico Rum and Social Media Day South Florida. And thank him for the support to show him that us alone, one person individually, is not going to have the ability to touch him. But if all of us tweet right now at the same time, not only will he hear us, and he'll realize that the decision he made to support this event today was the right decision, he's going to support ongoing efforts. And then we get other people like Enrique behind us, and us, South Florida, will change. And we will make Miami #1 next year with the Kaufman Index. So please tweet him right now and ask him to help us make Miami the #1 startup city. And I promise you that it will happen. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions? How many of you guys here are trying to start your own thing? Okay, great. You guys can make it happen. Let me tell you, right now is the perfect storm between how cheap money is, where the economy is, and where things are in Miami. You all live in the perfect city. You can all be big fish in what's considered a smaller pond in the world of tech, the world of social media, the world of startups. Okay? You know, in San Francisco, I will tell you that the probability of you being successful is a little less likely. Here, every single one of you in this room has a good chance of being extremely successful. So I really, really hope that you take what you've learned today and make the most of it. And just realize that you all have the ability to make it happen. Thank you so much.